Having no further speakers, we'll next move on to our Superintendent's Report. Dr. Sean Nelms is here from East High School EPO.
Good evening, Commissioners and community. I have a brief report, Malik, tonight, and just want to give an update. Beginning of school got off to a great start. This is probably the smoothest opening we've had thus far. It was one of our security officers who's also an East graduate said it felt like we never skipped a beat over the summer. I think that's the ultimate compliment you can have as an opening of school, is when kids come in and get acclimated quickly and the adults start the year teaching and not going over a bunch of rules and routines. A few updates for the community. We have the Diagnostic tool review this upcoming next week, October 3rd through the 5th. We sent a group of administrators to be formally trained this past weekend. We figured if we're going to have these reviewers coming in, we should have a group of reviewers ourselves. And so these individuals will be trained on how to do reviews, and so that we can have a better understanding what the state expects, since they've changed the state review model this year. We also spent the last 2 days with turnkey net training to staff and administrators, so they understand what the review will entail and how to best prepare for it. The indicator that will be reviewed, there are a series of indicators that are selected by the state, and we also have the opportunity to select some and have a discussion around their use and in evaluating how we are performing as a school. And so you will see that our preliminary results for review, we passed with flying colors in the lower school, and at upper school, there were 2 indicators that we're in discussion with the state over. One is our dropout rate, and the other is attendance. We chose to do some things with cleaning our books this year that may have hurt us, but not permanently. And I really thank the commissioner who I spoke with her team this past Saturday when I was in Saratoga at a conference, and they truly understand the complexities in trying to turn around a school. And when you're trying to correct the books in ways that reflect the kids that are sitting there, you will get dinged at least for 1 year. So we chose to take the hit this year as opposed to next year. But I'm very happy that the commissioner has had an open window, open line of communication with us, so that we can further clarify and support future receivers or future schools who are in the turnaround initiative. So we're really excited about that. Some of the data that we're tracking, I'm not going to go through these data. You have them in front of you. It's just this is an example of some of the data that we're tracking. So at our lower school, we're continuing to look at the performance in ELA and math. The 2014-15 school year reflects on the time before the EPO, and 15-16 and 16-17 are the first 2 years. And so we're steady tracking that to see how those kids progress through the system. Also the grades 9 and 10 promotion, as you know, research is pretty clear that students who do not move from grades 9 to grade 10 with their cohort are more than likely to drop out than they are to graduate. And so we're closely tracking that. And the way our schedule is created, the kids can make up for that in their sophomore year. So they have 2 years to really get the required credits and the right courses they need. And it's really, we've already seen an impact on our graduation rates for this upcoming school year. And then the bottom chart there is just the reading proficiency that we're using that shows that our kids are moving from that below basic level and gradually moving up towards grade level performance, and we're excited about that as well. So other data we're tracking are our kids who score 80s or 90s on Regents exams. Those are some college career readiness targets. And so we have a bunch of data tracking for that and trying to align those kids who are being successful with the teachers that they had at that year, with the curriculum that they use to get those type of results. And so you'll see that this is not an indication that we've reached the ultimate goal, but that we're starting to continue to track these things because 80s and 90s matter, especially for college entrance and scholarship opportunities. And then you'll see a bunch of other indicators too. Our students are now earning their biliteracy program, which means these kids can leave with a different credential by mastering a language. And also they have their CTE endorsement and programs that we overhauled the last 2 years. Our graduation rate, as I indicated, the state, we are working with the state to track our rates, all schools, but our rates in 2 different ways. One is the total cohort, which means all the students who entered that grade level their freshman year. But for us, we're saying, what about the kids who've attended 25 days or more? Can we track those too? So it would be your total cohort and then the actual kids that we've engaged since we've been there. And you'll see quite the difference between the cohort that represents all kids, including those kids who dropped out before we began, and those kids who've been here for at least 25 days. That's 25 days over 2 years, not 25 days per year, so 25 days or more. And so we're starting to track that data too to see the impact that we're having on the kids that we've been able to influence and versus the total cohort, and trying to make sure that we prevent that for those kids moving up to the lower school so that those numbers are really closely aligned. Very excited, last week we had our first major family and community engagement event. We had former LA Lakers star Byron Scott, an NFL and NBA coach, come to East last Friday, as well as the former CEO of Deer Park, who just sold one of his companies for $1 billion. We had a roundtable discussion, myself and Tariq Spence from WDKX moderated the discussion for the community around leadership and the importance of building team and coherence in large and small organizations. That was a really well-attended event, and it was really, it was great to have him speak one-on-one and do autographs, and everybody who attended received a free book, and that was sponsored by the University of Rochester. I do have some extra books if any of the board members want one, but it was an incredible event, and it was great to speak to an NBA legend as well as one of the top CEOs in the country. And today, our culinary program put on a, I wouldn't say impromptu, but they quickly put together a relief effort fund for our, for those who are in Puerto Rico. We have a large number of students from Puerto Rico, from other Spanish-speaking countries. Well, it's a territory, but and it was incredible to watch the students and the adults and community members come in and buy dinners or lunch on that behalf, and all the proceeds went to the relief fund. And we continue to work with Iberos and our other partners to support our families here, but also those who have lost loved ones in Puerto Rico or have yet to be able to communicate with them. There's a lot of students who are in pain right now, a lot of kids in our school who are worried and stressed about their families in Puerto Rico, and so we're trying to continue to support them and make sure that they're supported through our social work and counseling offices in school. But there are a lot of kids in pain right now, and it's something that we have to continue to monitor and pay attention to. And on a positive note, our homecoming event is this week. It was October 7th, next Saturday. We take on Monroe, and so I don't know who Flagler's going to cheer for since he went to both schools. But it starts with a parade. We have done this for 2 years now. The city has allowed us to block off parts of Main, East, and Culver, and the kids walk, and there's a bunch of fanfare, and then it ends with a game that'll start at around 1 o'clock, I believe. So you're all welcome to attend.
Which side do we sit on, the Monroe side or the east side?
There's actually one side. That's the east side. No, we support all our youth, right? No, we hope to get a really good turnout. It should be a beautiful day, and the kids are looking forward to it.
And where does the parade start?
It starts on Ohio Street. So it starts Ohio Street, then goes up Main, and then down Culver, and they walk into the stadium. There's a step team, the marching band, the community comes out, some of the local businesses march. It's a pretty cool event. Please come.
Any questions, other questions for?
No, just let me say.
I was at the Congressional Black Caucus, so I missed Byron Scott. I wish I was there because I would have taken him on one-on-one and showed him my skills. But I would like a copy of the book because I heard that it was really good. So if you keep one to me, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions or comments, Mr. Powell?
Yeah, on the one slide you spoke of the college-ready scores on the Regents exam, 112 scored 80 or higher. Am I correct? If I turn the slide, I see the total cohort 336. Is that the denominator?
No, great question. That's grades 10 through 12. So kids who took it that year in high school. So it could be juniors, sophomores, or juniors. And so,
so we don't know the denominator.
Right. So that's why I said it's not a metric that I want to say we overly celebrate, but we're starting to track those and monitor that. And every student who takes the Regents are encouraged to retake it until they get an 80. And we have a lot of students who have taken some exams 2 and 3 times already to get the 80.
Thank you.
Yep.
Somebody once said, what gets measured gets done. And what we can appreciate about what you all are doing there at East is you're measuring important indicators. And that, I'm convinced, and I think other people are, I think you guys are because you're doing it, that will yield better results. So thank you for that effort. Thank you for that presentation. And now we have the pleasure of